Welcome back to another episode, Heroclix fans. Today we are looking at a commenter requested team using Spider-Hamurai. So first things first, we should probably have a look at his dial, see what he can do and see what we can combo with him. He's got the animal, martial artist, past, Spider-Man family and warrior keywords. Obviously with all the stuff we've got at the minute, we are going to be using the Spider-Man family mixed with martial artist because he can recruit them to Spider-Man via his trait. Other traits, he's got Hunting Season, which gives him Blades, Claws, Fangs. At the beginning of the game, choose an opposing character or a team ability. 3. Make a close attack, but only to target the chosen character or character using the chosen TA. That seems pretty good as well. We could probably use that to work in some way. What really makes him stand out? Obviously, he's got the Spider-Verse like the other ones where he can place a character with the keyword when he hits and rolls a 3 to 6. So that will come in use. But more importantly, it's the Bushido Honor. Combat reflexes. If Spider-Hamurai is adjacent to exactly one opposing character, and neither is adjacent to any others, other characters can't be moved or placed adjacent to either of them, and you can't target either of them. So they can't be outwit, they can't be perplexed, you can't move next to them. There's nothing you can do to break it other than like the character themselves breaking away or one of them dying, which, considering he's a samurai, is a very cool and thematic idea. But this is a meta series. This is for competitive teams that you could possibly take to tournaments. So how do we break him? Now, we're going to, obviously, the video's about him, so he's going to be added to the list. But who do we pair with him? First things first, we're going to take a look at martial artists. And I know my previous video included this character as well, but there's no way we can make a martial artist team and not include him. It's the Prime Batman from Justice League. We'll just take a look at what he does if you don't know somehow. Basically, he can get rid of his team ability and then he can use in-cap mind control or psychic blast using full map, ignoring hindering, and target all opposing characters. He's nuts. He's too good for 40 points. I haven't really got much else to say about him. He shouldn't be able to do what he can do. He's even got colossal stamina if you need it. But more importantly, he does have mind control, and the fact it's full map means we can use mind control to place characters next to Spider-Hamurai or move some away when we need to. So it does actually work well with Hamurai, so the combination is there. It's not just throwing him in because he is so strong. I mean, he is strong, but yeah, it's a good combination, and that's only 100 points so far of our team. Let's take a look at what else Spider-Hamurai could recruit. Now, I think this is another good option. Samurai, only 30 points. You could play him possibly at 50. 50, he could possibly tank a shot. He's got slightly high defense with energy shield, so that could be a 19. So the idea behind this is he can force blast Batman back into a wall. It's nice having the option to do that without having the drawback of having to have an item and attach it before doing it. But also he's got the ability, when he does, he can remove a token from them. So not only can we knock Batman onto the penetrating clicks later in his dial, but we can also remove tokens from him, meaning he can attack more often. So I think this is actually a great combo. I only realised really looking at this team and trying to build it. So I think just trying to build teams in general is pretty good. Even if you're not necessarily going to play it yourself, it's good to just look at how figures interact. And in this case, I think that's a really strong combination. He is also Justice League, so if you use the Justice League team I mentioned last week, you could potentially switch this guy in. And I would actually suggest doing it because he gets the superpowered leadership on Batman and he gets to force blast him, which is pretty good going. So he's our next character in at 30 points. Now, I have been through the other martial art characters. I would potentially add the question. We'll take a look at what he does and see why. For only 40 points, you get outwit, you get stealth and combat reflexes, which is always a great combination. Whenever a character within 6 squares in line of fire makes an attack roll, you may remove a d6 and replace it with the one on your card. Dice manipulation is always good in a game based around rolling dice and luck, so it's a great ability to have. I do love the question as a character as well. But also he can generate smoke cloud at no cost, but only one marker. It's still pretty good. It means he can stealth himself. He's got Indom for 40 points, Justice League TA. You can't really complain about this character. I think it's a great tech in any team. But this is supposed to be Spider-Man family. Let's not just focus on Justice League stuff. So if we click back, Spider-Man family, we're going to add, this is probably quite an obvious one, but we're going to add Marvella, which means we can recruit some celebrities to the team. 15 points, she says, when establishing theme teams, characters on your starting force with celebrity gain the Spider-Man family keyword, which is unbelievable. She's also got barrier, which is quite good in the current meta. Obviously, with Batman shooting across map, Vulture flying in, barrier is always going to be useful. This is also quite a close combat team with Spider-Hamurai, and our next character could be close, so Empower will be good as well. She can also sidestep with the flight symbol, meaning she can carry, but only if she has no action tokens. Unless you're barrying with her, she probably won't, so that's kind of good as well. But now we've done that, what kind of celebrities can we add? My first thought is somehow we want to get Spider-Hamurai over towards their team without him really being shot at. Obviously, we could stealth him, but then there's ways to break stealth, so the only thing I thought of was having a character body block for him. Ideally, one of the Colossals that can only be shot within 4 squares. Celebrity meant we could place Mojo in the team. So 75 point Mojo. He can't be targeted by opposing characters 5 or more squares away, so they have got to be within 4 squares, which does make it a little more difficult because he can sidestep and move 2 squares when your opponent sidesteps. If they sidestep within, you can then move before they can attack you. He's got TK as well, so he can throw Spider-Hamurai over there. He's also got Perplex. But the reason I really like this figure is whenever a character misses all targets of their attack, give Mojo a board token. Now, that's not just your opponent, that's you as well. So we will be adding some characters which we don't mind missing attacks with, but we'll get to that shortly. And as a free action, you can remove 2 of those tokens to either place Mojo anywhere on the map or make an attack. And like we said, he's got the sidestep where he can move 2 squares if you sidestep. Really powerful character for 75 points. Kind of difficult to kill just to even get to. This will carry Spider-Hamurai around and sort of taxi him to the enemy team. So if we add Mojo, that takes us up to 260. Now, the final points, fairly obvious again for Spider-Man family. If you're playing it, you're probably going to have a Mary Jane. 15 points, she's autonomous. She makes Pogs, which are also autonomous. So what you ideally want to do is have Mary Jane spit out Pogs. Hopefully 3. I mean, you're always going to hope for 3. Hopefully they miss their attacks, which means you can stack up tokens on Mojo. And it's all autonomous, so it doesn't count towards your action total, which is incredible. Next turn, you attack again and push them to death, and then she can spit out more when you need them. For 15 points, she is one of the strongest figures in the game right now. It's unbelievable what she can do for those points. And that's through 17 energy shield with shape change, so she is not easy to kill in any way, shape or form. Even if you do manage to do it, she can come back as She-Venom, Marvella or Iron Man. That leaves us with 25 points. Now, if you want to make this team really competitive, I would say add another Marvella, because double barrier or having the option to barrier and then the other one barrier the next turn, it does protect you from alpha strikes and stuff like that. It can mess up Avengers and placement. So I would say possibly go for 2 Marvellas. Because we run the Mojo, you could also run 2 Mary Janes. This is where it sort of differentiates for each person. I think in general 2 Marvellas is going to be better. So that leaves us 10 points in which you can add some items and a map. Again, these are things you can pick out yourself, and it's really dependent on how you play. Ideally with this team, it's a tricky one because Batman sort of wants an open map. The other characters don't. Although you've got to remember, Mojo can't be shot from like a long distance. So you can afford to take a wide open map for Batman. We do have +8, so that is a massive bonus to rolling theme. Ideally, I would say maybe the WWE map, which is perfect for Batman. Some of your other characters might struggle a little. Obviously, the question can He can do his own thing. He can put himself in stealth. Marvellas can barrier. Your team is fairly safe. Mojo shouldn't really be hit. And you should manage to get the Hamurai in their face and be able to shoot them with other characters. Mojo for free if you're missing attacks with Mary Jane. I think when I started, I wasn't sure if Spider-Hamurai was really useful. Again, I still don't know if he is, but because he's 18 defense with combat reflexes up close, you've got a perplex. If they're trying to hit 21 defense, they're going to miss some attacks, which means Mojo also gets powered up. So there is a lot of combinations on this team that work really well together. But that's what I've got. That's my Spider-Hamurai team. I've actually taken some stuff from my... So I do make teams for myself as well. So there's a few characters in this which I've actually built around and I do think are underrated figures. So I do think this is quite a strong team. I think it's definitely competitive. You're probably not going to beat stuff like 76 or Vulture just because of the amount of attacks it's going to get. There's a lot of stuff to KO quite easily. Although saying that, a lot of the characters on your team do have combat reflexes, so he might struggle. It's an interesting team. I think it's one that you could play. Let me know if you've got any ideas down below or any changes you would make. And also let me know which figure you would like featured in the next episode. I have got Silver Surfer, which I need to do at some point, which has been recommended. So that might be a Fantastic Four team, or I might do two, maybe one solely based around him. Thank you so much for listening, and if you've enjoyed this team, make sure you subscribe and leave a like and all the good stuff. Thank you for listening to this point, if you are still here, and I will see you in the next one.